Parenting Up family, let me just get into it and tell you the truth, okay? For anyone new to the community, my dad is the reason why I'm a caregiver. The story has to be told. My dad did something that no other human has ever done in modern recorded history. Yeah, he was a super dope lawyer, and he got some really big verdicts. I'm counting on the universe to make sure I can continue to tell the story, to share more and more. The deal is, they gotta know that my daddy did it at night and on the weekends while he was being a lawyer. And oh yeah, he happens to be from Queens. And oh yeah, he happens to be a black man. Oh, that's a happens to be. But the one thing you can't take is the biggest, baddest collection. Parenting Up family. Ooh, ooh, ooh. This is such a special episode for your girl. My mind, body, and soul are all up in here. In this episode, you're about to get a sneak peek into really a deep dive sneak peek, a dive peek, a sneaky deep. I don't know, a sneaky deep. I like that, sneaky deep. Let's go with sneaky deep. You're about to get the sneaky deep version of what life can be like for me on any given day. In this episode, I am actually filming for a reality TV show. Now, no, I'm not about to join nobody's housewives, nothing. This show is about collectors. And my dad, Jock Michael Smith, has the biggest, baddest collection of sports stuff in the whole world. And this company found me and they said, hey, we would like you to talk about your dad for 30 minutes and we're gonna put it on TV. I said, well, let's start. When do you want to start? Yesterday? We could do this. Super cool. The host, Lisa who, Jay? I'm so happy you asked. Blair from Facts of Life. Now, I don't know about y'all, but she was so cool and so much fun. And that day on set, she gave the same vibe, the same energy. Whew, y'all, you gonna see a whole lot about filming a reality TV episode. MeTV is the network, by the way. Shout out to them, real hard and real deep love for even letting me do this. But you're gonna learn about my dad, why he collected, and how come it matters to me, even while giving everything to Zeddy, that I figure out how to honor my daddy too. Parenting Up, Caregiving Adventures with comedian Jay Smiles is the intense journey of unexpectedly being fully responsible for my mama. For over a decade, I've been chipping away at the unknown, advocating for her, and pushing Alzheimer's awareness on anyone and anything with a heartbeat. Spoiler alert, this shit is heavy. That's why I started doing comedy, so be ready for the jokes. Caregiver newbies, OGs, and village members just willing to prop up a caregiver, you are in the right place.
Hi, this is Zeddy. I hope you enjoy my daughter's podcast. Is that okay?
Today's shout out, Karen7. I hope I'm saying that right. Kayreyn, the number 7. From Instagram. Girl, I'm a fellow caregiver who feels every ounce of this post. There aren't enough emojis for my response. And then there's the emoji with the crooked mouth. Honey, don't you worry, I'm right there with you. I wish I didn't know all I do about being a caregiver. If you want to receive a supporter shout out, and you know you do, quit faking it. Go ahead and leave a review. You can do it on YouTube if you like to watch us, or you can do it wherever you listen if you bought them earbuds. Today's episode, Lights, Camera, Collection, from the sidelines of caregiving. Ha! Let's play ball!
So,
How's that, Willie?
talked about my dad and Muhammad Ali. If I had to do my blood pressure, I'm sure they would think I was having a heart attack. Yep. My heart just like, do.
But now, leave it there.
Oh my God.
Take that destroy shot.
Parenting Up family, let me just get into it and tell you the truth, okay? For anyone new to the community, my dad is the reason why I'm a caregiver. If we back up into it, my dad had a massive heart attack. My mom found him on the couch. That event was so stressful to poor little Zeddy's system that it thrust her into 2 forms of dementia. Now, if you don't know nothing about how that can happen, I encourage you to go back and starting with May 2020 and listen to those first couple, 3, 4, 5 episodes of how this journey began. So, for a television network to say, hey, Jay, we like what you're doing with the collection that you inherited. You want to be on TV? What? TV and talk about my dad? Yes. So this is what happened, y'all. Literally, it took about 9 months from when they contacted me through J Smiles Comedy, by the way, you know what I mean? Because we lead with that brand, to say, hey, do you really still have all these things? Are you willing to be on television? Do you have what it takes to talk about your dad at this time? And finally, over a decade after my dad passed, I can talk about the intricacies of this collection and what it meant to him. And thankfully, they let me bring part of my team on the set to get footage and photographs and all these kind of little things to document the day the J Smiles Parenting Up community way. So I cannot stress enough what this means. So we're really showing you a day in the life of J Smiles as a caregiver. Because you just never know what's going on. What does all this mean, Jay? First thing I want to tell you is this. First thing I want to say is your girl had to get up at Doc 30 for makeup and hair. It was so cool that everyone helped set up the exhibit. Because let me tell you, my dad's collection, the biggest in the world. There's thousands of pieces. The MeTV network asked me to highlight 8. 8. Do you know how hard it is to decide which 8? Like what 8? What? How do you decide who to pick when you got thousands? And everyone that my dad collected, they are men and women who had some kind of real bearing on either culture or societal, breaking up societal norms, disrupting stuff, or just winning a whole lot. And I gotta point this out. The network asked me to really focus on some iconic African American pieces. Now, my hottest African American pieces are actually with the Smithsonian on display there. So that meant, I was like, I can't use my Jesse Owens cleats from the 1936 Olympics when he got the 4 gold medals in front of Hitler. Right, that's what I'm saying. Your girl, there's one known pair, and your girl owns them. From my daddy, of course. They said, well, of what is not at the Smithsonian, can you give us a hot 8? And I was like, of course, but Jesus. Anyway, that might be part of why it took 9 months. We got to schedule. Where we going to be? We got to be on location. We got to find a location. Everybody has, I had no idea how hard it was to find a location. I mean, we're in Atlanta. It's stuff in studios everywhere. But you know what? They booked, because we booked in business down here. They working. So shout out to their production crew for figuring all that stuff out. Kobe Bryant. I have a Lakers number 8 autographed purple Kobe Bryant Lakers jersey. And because Kobe left this earth in such a startling fashion, y'all, his memorabilia has shot through the roof. And I learned more about how much through the roof. You know, you're like, okay, through the roof into the trees, through the roof into the clouds, or through the roof into Jupiter. How much skyrocket we talking about? Well, this entire series, The Collector's Call on MeTV, is about also getting an expert to come on, chat with you, and give me some kind of market experience on what they think the value of this item is. So Philip Merrill was the expert on my episode. Y'all, you got to go watch the episode yourself. I'm not going to tell you how much he said my Kobe Bryant jersey is worth. I'm going to just say it was thousands of dollars, and now it's something way more than what my daddy paid for it. The benefit of dumb luck. I also need you to know, my daddy didn't collect any of this stuff thinking, well, you know what, I want to make sure that my baby girl is taken care of, so when I die, you know, she'll have something solid. I wish I could say that my dad had that kind of foresight, or he had a crystal ball. Nah. The dude was just a nerd who was awkward, who loved sports. And that was his connection to his dad. My dad's dad, my paternal grandfather, died when my dad was 8. He was actually murdered in his law office. Long story. We're going to make this a happy episode, though. My dad started collecting in the 1980s. And over about a 30-year period, bit by bit, he collected baseball, football, basketball, hockey, tennis, track and field, NASCAR, golf. Yes, NASCAR. I got NASCAR whole racing suits. So the majority of my collection actually is not African American because, as we know, the majority of professional athletes in the history of America have not been African American. So I got white folks, Asian folks, Latina folks, all the folks, women and men. Today, though, we're talking about my Michael Jordan stuff and my Ali stuff and my Hank Aaron stuff, my Arthur Ashe stuff, even LeBron. My dad got a LeBron James high school jersey. A high school jersey. Now, shout out to Dad. I'm sure a part of the reason why he got it is their mascot was the Fighting Irish, and their colors were gold and green. My dad went to Notre Dame Law School, the Fighting Irish, the same school colors. I gotta believe that my daddy had a little extra affinity for LeBron's high school jersey because of that connection. Michael Jordan. Yes, not only is it a Michael Jordan jersey, but let me tell you this, it's signed on both sides. Jordan signed the front and the back. I don't even know what made my dad think to do that. But that's what makes this super rare. It's signed on both sides. And that chair you see, that is an original sideline VIP seat in the first arena where Jordan played for the Chicago Bulls and got his first ring. Who even knows to get that? My daddy. Ali. What you see, Ali robe. Yes, he wore the robe. Yeah, that's dirt. You see dirt on it. As a collector, we want all the DNA, blood, sweat, and tears, grass stains, loose tooth, whatever we can find that makes that thing more gritty, more grindy. that makes the piece more unique and more connected to that athlete in that moment in history. So I also got Ali boxing trunks. By the way, Ali was my father's favorite athlete of all times. Why? Because he told you he was pretty. He was bold with his words. He backed it up, and he took a stand against the American government when he didn't think it was just to go and fight in the Vietnam War. He lost everything. My dad had a lot of respect for a man willing to really put his whole life on the line for what he thought was just. You know, y'all know my dad was a lawyer, so I have so much Ali stuff. I could probably make a mini touring Ali museum and just take it all across the world. I have multiple boxing shoes. No, he don't have cleats. Multiple boxing gloves. Probably 5 or 6 pairs of his boxing shorts. I even have a photo of my dad with Ali. Now, Ali was his guy. Hey, what's up, Parenting Up family? Guess what? Have you ever wanted to connect with other caregivers? You want to see more behind the scenes footage? Want to know what me and Zeddy are doing? I know you do. All things J Smiles are finally ready for you. Even when I go live. Do it now with us on Patreon. Join us in the Patreon community. Catch everything we're doing. Visit patreon.com/J Smiles Studios with an S. This Arthur Ashe tennis racket. I just need you to go look up Arthur Ashe. Put an E on the end of the Ashe to get him, for you to find the man, an African-American man, first one to win the majors in tennis. We also got his professional tour card. That's a part of what's inside that frame piece. My dad was really ahead of the curve on how he exhibited things like this. He would get these items, and he had a preferred framer that would create these shadow boxes and put whatever little metal descriptor of what it is. My dad considered himself an archivist and a person who was preserving history. So yes, he was a big kid at heart that loved sport and competition. But if you were someone like Arthur Ashe, who actually made a difference culturally and legislatively on what it means to be a black man in America, then that's another whole level. It's another whole level. And also, in terms of medical activism, Arthur Ashe, if not the first, he was one of the first known individuals to actually contract HIV/AIDS and die from those complications from a blood transfusion. We had not known before him that was really going down. In the background, while we don't ever talk about it on the episode, you see a dark crimson red jersey with Williams on the back. It's also autographed. That's Doug Williams. He went to Grambling State University, a historically black university in college. And he was the first black quarterback in the NFL to win the Super Bowl. And he came from a HBCU, okay? And I'm gonna tell you something that a lot of people don't remember, but I do, because my dad was pissed, and then that gave me a reason to ask him why he was pissed. It had been like tradition for years that Walt Disney World, immediately after the Super Bowl, whoever was the MVP got the Disney commercial. What are you gonna do next? Now that you won the Super Bowl and won the MVP, I'm holding my hand, being very sarcastic, like I have a mic. Well, I'm going to Disney World. That was it. I mean, everyone could say the commercial. You could say the commercial with your eyes closed. All of a sudden, Doug Williams wins the MVP. He doesn't get the commercial. It's the only time I'm aware of that they did that. But in the years since, there was a black man who got the MVP. There have been multiple black quarterbacks who won MVP of Super Bowl, and they did get their Disney commercial. So thank you, Mr. Williams. Hank Aaron goes without speaking. I mean, what he took from the world in terms of being treated poorly. Well, let me back up a little bit for y'all. Okay, Hank Aaron is a baseball player. He was originally from Mobile, Alabama, which is my home state, not my home city. Why does he matter? Why did we choose him? Why did I put him in the episode? Because again, when you got 10,000 people, I got everybody. Who are you gonna pick? I'm sitting here right now in my Derek Jeter Forever shirt because Zeddy made me take her, even with Alzheimer's, this chick made me find Derek Jeter and take her to Derek Jeter's farewell tour on his last year playing. At that point, her Alzheimer's was not as advanced as it is. But it still was funny as hell to me that she could be asking for something as specific as, I gotta go meet Derek Jeter. Really? Really, Heifer? Everybody wants to meet Derek Jeter. Anyway, I got this shirt during that mother-daughter time, and so I'm rocking it now to have a little mom and a little dad, because Derek was one of my dad's favorite Yankees. Anyway, back to what I told them about on the episode. Hank Aaron, he doesn't have the home run career record anymore, technically. But a lot of people still give it to him because there were no steroids or enhancing performance type drugs and things back in his day. This is the thing, y'all. He got death threats. This was the 70s, and there were individuals that were so pissed off at the notion that Hank Aaron would surpass Babe Ruth, a Caucasian man. Now, okay, first of all, it's a little shaky on whether he's Caucasian. His nose is bigger than anybody's in my family. And I got all kinds of noses in my family. Don't look at my nose and think it's all the noses in my family. We got noses that go from earlobe to earlobe. And Babe Ruth was right up in there, okay? His hair was, okay. Anyway, I'm just trying to say he had a little something in him. They didn't want America, not all of America, but some very outspoken individuals did not want him to surpass Babe Ruth. They offered to kill him, to hurt his family, to break his legs. But this boy's from Alabama. What you're not gonna do is keep us down, okay? So he went on, he did get the record. And what I brought to this episode is there's a Hank Aaron jersey, there's a ticket that Hank signed of the day and the game where he actually surpassed Babe Ruth. Babe Ruth had 714. This is the game where he got 715. So there's a lot going on. And then there's a baseball that has Hank's name on it, but guess what else? It has like 75% of every man who's hit 500 or more home runs. So there are Caucasians on there too. But so when I tell you my dad he wasn't playing, he was about that collecting life. Family, the most important piece to me on this episode is that cream colored jersey that has Cardinal across the front. Nobody on the team, on the production side, they didn't know about him. Most Americans don't know about him. His name is Curt, C-U-R-T, Flood. Like, we gonna flood the river when we break the dam. Okay, that was too much. His name is Curt Flood, C-U-R-T, flood like water can flood a city. Why does he matter, Jay? He had multiple Golden Gloves. In baseball, a golden glove is given out for each position. That means that year, you were the best defensive player at that position in the entire Major League Baseball. Big deal. He did that multiple times. He had a really good hitting average. But that's not why he's one of my favorites, y'all. He is the only reason that free agency exists. The only reason. Before Curt Flood, whoever drafted you, that was where you were going to retire. And if they traded you, you had to go. Black, brown, Asian, white, everybody knew, for all practical purposes, it was kind of like indentured servitude. They like, hey, we got a scout. You sign this contract. We own you professionally. And when we get tired of you and we want to send you to somebody else, you got to go. Either you go or you stop playing baseball. Curt said, I disagree. I am performing very well. Look at my stats. And I don't want to go. Why don't I have a say-so on whether or not I got to go? And then the second layer he said was, and if I got to go, why don't I have a say-so in where I'm going? Because I did choose to say yes when you drafted me. Like, I liked this organization. So what's up? Y'all, you got to understand, this went all the way to the Supreme Court. And Curt came out victorious. So all these players in any sport, anywhere in the world, I'm saying this is what was happening in Europe, in Asia. Mr. Curt Flood started that. So everybody that goes to a new team, or you got the collective bargaining agreement where you can get $100 million in 1 year, that's all because of Curt Flood. The kids who are getting in college, getting this NIL, name, image, likeness, all of this comes from Curt Flood being willing to go to the Supreme Court. And then what happened? Of course they blackballed him. Of course they said, okay, yeah, well, you did win, and we're going to trade you, but you know what else? It's going to feel and look a lot like Colin Kaepernick. You about to get iced out. So even though this man still had the talent, his career was all but over. I personally believe that everybody who has, stanky grossly benefited from what maneuvering allows you to do in a professional sense. You ask for a trade, you get traded, free bargaining, whatever. You can put that in your contract now. After 2 years, I can leave for no reason at all. I think everybody who did that needs to drop something in his estate. Go find whoever he's related. Go find whoever is still alive that's related to him, and just get him a car. Give him a house. You ain't got to meet them. And it don't matter if you think they good people or not. Without somebody, uncle, cousin, you wouldn't be. I don't want to curse. This is somewhat of a family podcast. But anyway, fuck that. You wouldn't have shit. So put some respect on Curt Flood's name, and that's why he's in the episode, because this is the Parenting Up community. And if nothing else, what we're going to do is we're going to tell the truth, or we're going to advocate, and we're going to spread awareness about whatever it is we're doing. Y'all, that day was so emotional. I had to stop several times to get my makeup kind of dried up, or to step outside to get a deep breath. Because I'm talking about my dad and why he collected, which then means he's not here to say it. And as wonky as that might sound, I'm getting a little bit of butterflies in my stomach right now as I recount the event of me being a little bit thrown off. But the story has to be told. My dad did something that no other human has ever done in modern recorded history. Yeah, he was a super dope lawyer, and he got some really big verdicts. But there are other lawyers that are super dope, that get big verdicts and help even out the playing field between corporations and the little man. There's a lot of lawyers who've done that. Ain't but one person in the whole history of everybody, everywhere, made a collection like this. So I'm counting on the universe to make sure I can continue to tell the story, to share more and more, to make sure that our partnerships grow from the Smithsonian to maybe the various professional leagues. Look out for what your girl trying to do. Maybe take a tour to some universities, some primary schools, maybe all around the world. The deal is they got to know that my daddy did it at night and on the weekends while he was being a lawyer. And oh yeah, he happens to be from Queens. And oh yeah, he happens to be a black man. Oh, that's what happens to be. But the one thing you can't take is the biggest, baddest collection ever known. That day was stressful. Also, because the caregiver that was with Zeddy had a difficult day that day. So I have my assistant holding my cell phone, because you know you got to be on airplane mode because you can't have nothing go while we on set. But watching to see if I get any text messages, to see if I'm going to have to cut this whole thing short to get back to my mama. Now, Zeddy didn't need to go to the hospital that day. But the point is, I was still a caregiver first on that set, talking about my dad and the great things that have already happened and are in the works with his collection. A documentary and all these kind of cool things. So I feel y'all. You are always a caregiver. Wherever you are, wherever you're working, it's always right there. And a little bit, you're waiting for the other shoe to drop. You're waiting for the other shoe to drop. Am I going to get through this shoot? That's what I kept telling the producers and my assistants, my whole team. Can I get through this shoot in time? And we going to make the deadlines? And is my mama going to need me? Do you know how hard it is to remember the story or the line you're supposed to say if you think your mama might be somewhere in distress and need you? See, man, ain't nobody listening to me. Y'all listening? That is why we continue to advocate legislatively and other things. Because I shouldn't have to feel that way while I'm celebrating my dad, honoring him, and doing a reality TV episode on how cool his collection is. You know, that's life. I'm a caregiver. Y'all know what it is. The snuggle ups. Number 1, stay ready so you ain't got to get ready. Or another way to put it is, don't give up on yourself. Another way to say it, don't think that the universe has forgotten about you, your hopes, or your dreams. Y'all, my dad died 13 years ago. That's the same year that Zeddy was diagnosed with 2 forms of dementia. But today, this day, was the day, the first time that I filmed a show talking about my heart's desire to have my dad's collection discussed on TV. Yeah, 13 years. And truth be told, I started trying to convince my dad of sharing his collection with the public while he was still alive. So who knows? What are we talking about? More like 15, 16, 17, 18 years ago? But all happens when it's supposed to happen. So keep pushing. You don't know when it's supposed to happen, but you be ready when the opportunity comes. Number 2, while on set filming, y'all hear me say that? Filming the Jock Michael Smith, just a fraction of the collection for a reality show, I was asked how and why and where and when my dad got the pieces. I gotta tell y'all, some of the stuff, I don't know. Some of the pieces, my dad didn't even quite remember where and when he got it. Now, it's not that he didn't have a clue. It would be, he's like, oh, baby, okay, now I got it from Tommy, but I gotta remember where Tommy told me he got it from. Jay Smiles, why are you telling me all of this, and what's the point? The point is, follow your passion. My dad was so sold out to his connection to history and sports, and his dad, right? I don't know if I told y'all this, but my dad started collecting in order to be more engaged with the memory of his father, because his daddy took him to baseball games when he was a little boy. So he wanted to collect all of the iconic pieces from the players that he would go and watch play baseball in New York from the 1950s. And then it just blossomed and expanded into all lacrosse. Why do I have a full team of lacrosse players from Notre Dame? I know good and damn well my dad ain't watched no lacrosse with Notre Dame, but anyway, I digress. But my dad was so into being a purist and following what he needed and the passion. He didn't remember all the details of what got him the result that he wanted. And you might not either, but what is it that you're passionate about and that you want to do? Start on the journey one step at a time, one day at a time, and you'll get there. Who the hell cares how many dips and doodles and dips and turns you have to take? Number 3, watch who the hell you are with. All right, I have a phenomenal team. When this opportunity was brought to me, can I tell you, I jumped on it. Yeah, the people came to me. The network came to me because my team and I have put out good content. We have stayed true to our brand. I never had 1 million followers. I've never been on the cover of Time magazine. I've never been in the New York Times. But you don't have to be. If you are true to yourself, true to your brand, and you have solid people on your team who are committed to you and what you're trying to do, magic can happen. The network came, they asked, I told my team, we're strong and we're mighty. Hey, this is where we gotta be. Please, everybody show up. Hair, makeup, videographer, my assistant. Let me tell you something. What? Just stay out our way and our minute what we gonna have. What the hell we want. And you can have it too. Thank you for tuning in. I mean, really, 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 thank you so very much for tuning in. Whether you watching this on YouTube or if you're listening on your favorite podcast audio platform. Either way, wherever you are, subscribe. Come back. That's the way you gonna know when we do something next. Y'all know how it is. I'm Jay Smiles. I might just drop something hot in the middle of the night.